So, before we get going, I should give a little backstory. Years and years ago, I was writing a Star Wars novel with the hopes that it could get published and therefore canonized and all that stuff. And then the evil empire known as Disney came along and was all like, nope, nothing is canon unless we do it now. Anything from here on out, only that is canon. Everything before us, not canon. So, I stopped it. I should really do this later. I got like no time. Star Wars: The Unstable Truce. And the cat just wants in, and I'm gonna have to ignore him. 853 before Battle of Yavin. That's the date. Chapter 1. Dawn. Dawn was truly a wonder to behold on any planet. But on Coruscant, dawn at the Jedi Temple was anything but beautiful. Sunlight trying to break through the industrial zone was laughable at best. Practically its own continent, its smog has all but blocked the sun's light from passing through. Dusk was no better. With the ever-growing size of the skyscrapers, you're essentially in shadow until the sun is on the other side of the planet anyway. Munda Brick stood at the windows of his dorm, pondering these truths. Price of progress, I suppose, Munda quietly said to himself. Munda hoped the Republic Senate would address the issues soon. If not, he'd have to request permission to be a watchman of Naboo, or maybe Onderon, or anywhere that isn't a soul-leeching metropolis of a planet. But Munda didn't awake at this hour to ponder the planet's problems. No. He felt a stirring as he slept, an emptiness he couldn't explain away. He took one last hopeful look at the sunrise. Disappointed as he is every morning, he turned and left for the main hall. Chapter 1! No. Munda had hoped... Nope. That's repeating myself. The main hall was already starting to fill up, which was unusual for this hour. Most of the temple's inhabitants normally kept away from the overly social areas till after the morning rituals were completed. Goddamn cat. Get the fuck in here. Come here. Then shut up. When Munda walked among them, he sensed a disquiet in the air. He decided to stop and observe the situation a little closer. Hopefully, he could get a sense of what was going on before. "Hey, Munda!" said a rapidly approaching and excited figure. "Great, just what I need," Munda said under his breath. He turned to face the young man properly. "Good morning, Kel," Munda replied. "I was thinking about our session the other day," Kel said excitedly, "and I think I've really improved. I really think I could finally disarm you in our next session," he said in a confident tone. "Yes, you've really come into your own these past 2 years," Munda said, trying to keep the sarcasm out of his voice. "Can we have another sparring lesson today?" Kel said, and then quickly gasped, "Can we do it now?" No, I really don't have the time today to," Munda was saying until he noticed an almost pained expression upon Kel's face. Munda knew why. He was experiencing the same sensation. "You feel it too?" he asked Kel. "Yeah." Kel's face was full of confusion. "I thought it was just me, but I guess everyone can," pointing towards everyone in the hall. Munda looked around and indeed did see that nearly everyone looked confused or anxious. The younglings looked more afraid than anything. Munda turned back to see Kel walking away from the dorms, sharing much of the same expression as the younglings. Munda needed to go to his master to help make sense of this. He continued to walk toward the master chambers, briskly weaving in and out of confused crowds, when suddenly a voice shouted over the crowd's murmur. "There's a ship with unknown markings trying to dock at landing pad 7. intercoms. Munda reached out with the force and found it. The origin of the disturbance was within that ship. Determined, Munda marched amongst the crowd toward the source of everyone's anguish. I'm sorry that I am stuttering. I'm not used to reading out loud like this. The docking bay was less packed than Munda anticipated. More than 3/4 of the original mob decided halfway to turn back. None of that mattered now, though. Not to Munda. It was here, and he needed to find out what this was. Why it seemed so warped. He peered into the sky, hoping to get a glance of the incoming ship. I've heard the landing authority has denied all requests to dock, but the ship is determined to land, apparently. A Jedi Munda had never met before said. The scream of a passing ship blasted its way through the landing platform, passed into the docking bay behind the crowd, its sound echoing for several moments. Well, whatever that ship was, it's certainly fast, Munda thought. A moment later, the ship had reappeared, much slower this time. It was landing. As the ship made its way to the landing pad, Munda examined the ship. It was old, that much was for certain. Its black and silver finish was also certainly something that'd make it stand out by today's standards. The red lights dotting the exterior certainly gave it a more menacing appearance. As the ship extended its landing struts and the ship touched down, hissing as the ship settled firmly into the landing pad, Munda finally recognized the vessel. A Fury-class Imperial Interceptor. I went back after I played Tor and I just added the ship because I was like, that's a great ship. Oh, it's way better than... I can't even remember what my original ship name was. I was like, that's it! I went back and I put that in. That's impossible, Munda argued out loud to himself. Those haven't been built for over 2,500 years. Munda tried to catch a view of its pilot, but its tinted transparent steel killed all of that. So he waited. They all waited. For what seemed like an eternity until finally the ship's landing ramp began to lower. The crowd was silent, on edge, waiting, watching. A hooded figure strolled down the ramp, shrouded in a black robe, clad in grayish armor underneath. Though the hood obscured the face, it was clear by the walk that the individual was male. His robe caught a quick breeze and flooded open only briefly, but it was long enough to notice that the man had 2 lightsabers hooked to his belt. One with a curve to its hilt. The other was straight, thinner, smaller than average. No sooner as the man reached the bottom of the ramp, a landing officer confronted the man, blaster pistol drawn at the ready. I told you not to land unless you stated your business, the officer shouted at the man. And I told you that my business is with the council. If they choose to share my information with a peon such as yourself, then that's their choice, the dark man said calmly back with so much disgust. The man's voice chilled Munda to his core. Can't be. Please no, he pleaded quietly to himself. I strongly suggest you take yourself back into orbit until you get proper clearance, the officer ordered. I gave you a clearance code, the man countered angrily. Yeah, a code that hasn't been used in nearly 6 years, he spat back. The dark figure lowered its hood in aggravation. His head was absent any sign of hair. His skin was pale and seemed cracked in some places. Blue, purplish veins visible in others. His eyes glowed a fierce yellow-orange that seemed to hold a raging fire inside. The markings of the dark side were clearly visible. But it was the facial structure that truly caught Munda's eye. His heart sank. His soul was crushed. His fear was confirmed. It's him. His old friend. I should be going. How much more of this chapter is there? Shit. Arlian Morse, said a new voice in the crowd. Fuck, I'm doing this voice. The owner of the voice let himself be seen by moving away from the crowd. Munda's master moved toward the newcomer, standing at just over half a meter tall, green with rather large ears. The figure would look out of place nearly anywhere else in the galaxy. But everyone in the Jedi Temple knew better. As did Olian, who bowed to the tiny being. Always impatient. Always so quick to anger you are. Changed? You have not. Master Yoda, I see you're still talking backwards. Amazing indeed how things never change. Yoda's closed-mouthed chuckle seemed out of place in a tense environment. But Yoda beckoned Olian to approach. Olian walked past the officer, walked alongside Yoda for the first time in 6 years. My old Padawan, exiled you were, cast out. Why are you here? I seek an audience with the Jedi Council. I have knowledge of an event that threatens the entire galaxy, Master Yoda. He stopped, turned, knelt, and looked Yoda straight in the eye. You know I wouldn't be here. It wasn't important. Believe you I do. And been expecting you, we have. Waiting for you, the council is. Come, he said with a sad smile. Yoda motioned for Munda to join them on their walk to the council chambers. Padawan, remember Olian, do you? Munda avoided Olian's gaze as they walked. Vaguely. Yoda sensed how uncomfortable his Padawan had become, so he let the issue drop for now, and the three made their way to the council chambers. Continue tomorrow. I really should. I got things to do. Got dinner to eat. And I'm only halfway through the damn chapter. I will continue this tomorrow.